Hey guys, Lou here. When it comes down to final assembly, we all know that the devil is in the details. Make everything just right. But you know what? On disassembly, it's the same thing. When you're getting yourself involved in a project like this, take the time, put labels on everything. Okay, that way when you put it back together, you know exactly where everything has to go. Same thing with your parts. You want to put your parts in bags. You want to put all the bolts in bags. Any body shims, like from the fender here or from the doors, you want to mark those where they were at and put those in bags also. Take all those bags, put them in a bin. Put a cover on the bin, mark the bin on what it is. You can even separate it, front of truck, middle of vehicle, back of vehicle, however it is that you want to do it. The key is that when you get this in depth in a project, there are going to be parts and dirt and rust flying around all over the place, and it's going to be impossible to remember where everything went back together unless you have one of those super photogenic minds, which I do not have. So again, just take the time, label everything, bag everything, what we call tag and bag, and everything should go fine for you. You know, there's almost something zen-like when you're disassembling a vehicle and you're just taking your time and like I explained earlier, bagging everything and labeling everything to make sure that it's there when you go for reassembly really does make the difference between, something's going to come out like crap and something you're always hunting around for parts. Those little screws, those little clips, especially the little J clips. Just take your time. There's no rush. This isn't a race. And, we're going to walk you through all that. We're going to start breaking down the interior on this. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about as far as bagging and labeling everything so that nothing gets lost.
If your vehicle doesn't say Pine Belt on the back, you pay too much. Pine Belt Chevrolet, for over 75 years with great Fillmore. Route 88 between Lakewood and Brick.
I know what I said about it being the Zen-like process sometimes, but sometimes you just got to break out the big boy tools and get a little manimal on it. I hate rust. Just watch your eyes, okay? Hold on, hold on. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, so big moment here. Motor and transmission are coming out. This is one of those times where you're going to want to slow down, take your time, do not rush. You will break things, you will smash things, you will possibly lose a finger. Make sure you're using good quality stuff. Most people out there will recognize this, they'll recognize these, they'll recognize these. They're absolutely fine for this. They're rated for 1,500 pounds. This motor and transmission together probably weigh 600 or 700. I'm using the factory lift rings that are on here. Now that being said, you want to make sure you double check all your wires. Back here we got a wire harness that's still bolted to the motor that I couldn't get to because the body was in the way. All the other cables are out of the way. All the fuel lines are disconnected. Just take your time. Take your time. It's not a race. I can't stress this enough. Be prepared to spend some time doing this. You want to make one pull, you want to make it a good pull, you don't want to break anything. I'm going to go ahead and get all this disconnected. We're going to get this motor and trans out of here, get it up on the workbench, get the transmission off the motor, put the motor on the stand, and then start ordering some parts. Perfect example of what I was talking about. You can see here this exhaust manifold stud. There's no way going to get past the frame or past the motor mount here. Even if I pull the motor mount out, I still have to leave the motor tilted to get the transmission out. Now, what does that mean? That means the exhaust manifold's got to come off. Yeah, you think this is going to be easy, huh? Okay, so we got 2 bolts here, we got 2 bolts here, and then finally we got 2 bolts right here. But this big bracket is in the way, and the only way for the bracket to come off is to take off the power steering pump, and the only way to take off the power steering pump is to take off the power steering pulley. So I'm going to walk you through. Okay, so taking off the power steering pulley. Not exactly launching the space shuttle here, but it does require a special tool, which is a power steering pulley puller or remover, or whatever word you want to put on it. Very simple device. You have 2 halves that go around here that clamp around the front of the pulley. Those of you who have worked on these will know that there's a ridge right on the back side here, right over here. And then your actual puller has a piece here, which goes in here. So, you're here, you're here, you're here. You have a collar that goes over to hold everything together. Each tool is going to take a different size, I suppose. Mine happens to take a 5/8 for this big center stud. And then you have one for this big nut here. Now, the idea is simple. Loosen or unscrew, depending on which part of the country you're from, this nut back towards this wrench, and it will pull the whole pulley with it. Be prepared to spend some time here and exert a lot of force. Some of them come right off. Some of them are going to fight you every inch of the way. So, like I said, be prepared to spend some time doing this. And after a while of grunting and sweating in the shop that at 9:30 at night, it's still 100 degrees in here. Because, you know, mechanic. Fun. Girlfriend's not home. And eventually you'll get to a point where the nut and everything comes off. Now the reason why we did all this is to get to these stinking bolts here, to get the pump out, to take this bracket off, to, as I said, get the exhaust manifold off. Okay, now once you finally get the power steering pump out of the way and you want to get to your bolts, we have this little tab thingy here. That's the technical term, thingy. But before you can get the socket on here, there's these metal tabs that keep this bolt from backing out, or the stud. So you want to get those out of the way. Like so. Okay, now once you get that done, I prefer to use an impact because it really does lessen the chances of the bolts breaking in there. I'm going to turn my gun down just a little bit. We'll see if we can do this. Okay, it's 2 down. Oh yeah, and the other thing, I don't have a deep 6-point, but you really want to use a 6-point on these so that you don't slip. Come down to these last 2. Hold on to this guy because it's going to be heavy. And now with that manifold out of the way, you can see that we're left in a very precarious position here. Anybody who's seen Final Destination knows exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll make a couple of pulls, we'll get the other manifold off, and get the motor leveled out, and hopefully we'll get this guy out of here. Okay, and then after some cursing, screaming, prying, lifting, leveling, you finally get everything disconnected, and you get to that point where you're finally free. The last big piece to come out of the truck. It wasn't bad. What was that, 15, 20 minutes? Yeah, okay. Well, look, as you can tell, doing this kind of work is going to have its challenges. It's dangerous work. If you don't know what you're doing, if you have cheap equipment, I do not suggest that you do this on your own. Get a friend, get two friends, get a friend who has, a good lift and chains to do that. As you saw, there was, challenges taking it out with the exhaust manifold and then that heater hose that was wrapped up in the AC compressor. Just take your time. Be careful, be slow. Think about what you're doing. If you try to rush it, you're only going to get hurt. If you try to rush it, you're going to end up breaking something on the truck, or you're going to drop the engine, and you're going to do a lot more damage than what you're already starting off with. That being said, now that that's out, we're going to get the engine and trans separated. The trans is going to go to a rebuilder. I'm going to tear down the motor, see what's going on in there, make sure everything is okay. It has been sitting for 16 years. We're going to get a bunch of sheet metal ordered. We're going to do floor pans, inner and outer rockers, a rear cross member to start. Then I got to source some doors and some fenders and a hood and a grill, and the list is about this long. So, but that's going to be coming up in the weeks. We do this real time. So today is September 10th. Last night, September 9th, is when the motor came out, so it's not like we have these videos, stored up and ready to go. So subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Comment. Come on over to Facebook. Like us on there, Jersey Shore Fabricators LLC. I'll be throwing pictures up on there and other little videos in between of some of the shenanigans that go on in the shop here, and different characters that are going to be in and out. So if you're doing this on your own, like I said, just be safe. That's the key. Be safe, have fun with it, and until we see you again, peace and God bless.